Hi everyone, we are Amber Louise Ainsworth collectively. We also write under the name Did We Write, or Did We Write. There's four of us going to do our little presentation today. So I am Berlou and Lolly. We're all blended. We like being together. And then there's Berlou, she's our first trauma holder, and Mia, who is the person that's done most of the writing, even though she is a little like us. We're pretty active, us littles, in our system. Our host has been very, very open and accepting. Because of that, we think we've achieved an awful lot of healing in the last, where are we? It's about 2.5 years-ish since we started working out that we're a system when we were 37. We're 40 now. In terms of trigger warnings, there might be a little bit about suicidal thoughts. We won't really talk about any major traumas. We'll talk a little bit about other less significant traumas and how we've healed them. Because we've got through most of this without specialist psychotherapy. We love specialist psychotherapy, but that's not been available to us. So we've had to muddle along and figure it out ourselves. Fortunately, before we started working out we're a DID system, our host Amber she says she's been laying the groundwork for years, like gathering tools, and we see that. It feels like that. She's suffered with mental health problems, anxiety, depression, all the life, and then remembered the first trauma, the one that we're not going to talk about, from when we were 2, in 2019, and then a year later the system reveal started. Right, so Berlou is going to take over for a little while. She's going to talk about writing, and then she's going to pass over to Mia, who's going to talk about her poetry, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about things that have helped us. We've done some prep for this. I'm sorry, it's not perfectly professional. We're not very good at doing anything really. Anyway, so Berlou. We thought yesterday that I was going to present this with Mia, but now Lolly's come back and Berlou's happy again and we're doing it their way. So our system reveal began October 2020. Amber and Isabel realised that they were separate from each other and started trying to work out how to communicate. They assumed that Isabel was an inner child. She was a child for a little while, I think, and then she was a teen for many months. It was really hard work. She was processing an awful lot, and we think now that she was processing others' stuff as well as her own. Quickly, Amber found that she could use hypnosis techniques. That's one of the tools that Berlou mentioned. In our 20s, Amber was really interested in hypnosis, read a few books, wanted to do some... Oh, she did do some training. We did do some training. We did a weekend thing. Anyway, that understanding of suggestion and hypnotherapy and its benefits, and the mind-body connection as well. She when we studied psychology and health at university and came out very much interested in the mind-body connection and what and all of that, really. I should be able to tell you better, but she's letting us do this. That led to us eventually, years and years later, becoming a massage therapist, and then we discovered myofascial release, MFR, and it was while training in MFR that Amber remembered the first trauma. So we had that understanding of the mind-body connection, and we had some understanding of how to release physically held trauma. We also came at this with a solid yoga practice. Been practicing consistently for about 9 years. Without that, it's just amazing what happens. We're very, very lucky that we have a membership yoga studio just 5 minutes away, and it's hot yoga. We go a couple of times a week, and it's just amazing the stuff that can happen in that room. It's a lovely place to spend time anyway. We don't get out much. It's really just, we're either at home, we go to yoga, and we shop. That's it. We're lucky that we've got a husband who has financially supported us through this. Without those things. The other thing that we think has been integral to our healing is our dog and walking every day. We wouldn't, but he wants to go out, and so we do. And usually after a little while, even when we feel like we physically cannot stand up, we loosen up. We listen to music when we're walking. Music is another thing that's been a constant. One recognisable habit that we've always had is fixating on songs or albums. And at times we will listen to one song or one album for weeks, months, maybe. There was a song that after our dog died, when was that? We listened to just one song for weeks and weeks and weeks. But we noticed that when we're listening to music, we feel it. We feel it physically. I'm sure that a lot of DID systems know about the experience, the goosebumpy sensations when you feel music, when you feel something. And we use that, we exploit it. We feel the music, and we feel it over and over and over again until we no longer feel it. One song, Berlou, I'm blended, so I nearly spoke about myself, third person. It's Steph and Pen there with me. Steph's our sexual protector, Pen is co-host Enigma. So yeah, we feel the music, and it can make us, we can cry and cry and cry, and then suddenly it stops, and now we notice we call them processing attachments to different songs, and it's interesting to look back on where we've come from, how much we have got through by just listening to music. So I like songs, there's hundreds of songs in there, and we can go back through and feel where we were like 2 years ago, 18 months ago, whenever, just by the songs that we were listening to and got saved at the time. But anyway, I want to talk more about writing. Mia's contemplating trying to do a little poem. Now she's panicking. Mia's very shy. Mia's not shy and is shy. She's an introverted extrovert. She wants to do it all. She wants to be her amazing self, but because of the way she speaks, she's been older. She's 7, but she is not good teenage or adult. So everyone encourages her just to be herself. She can do a lot at 7. Being young definitely isn't a negative thing, not in our system anyway, and we hope in many others. So we quickly found that writing was the most effective way for us to communicate. When Isabel and Amber started communicating, it was just on the phone. We've used the Notes app more than anything else. Some people say you need to write by hand in order to get, I don't know, benefits of something. But for us, we write. We don't write enough, actually, which is hilarious when we've written so much. But writing on the computer, writing on the phone, writing in journals, diaries, whatever. The point is getting it out. We've had meetings and conversations. I'm sure most systems will have someone, even if it is someone who's young, who would be happy to take charge, and or a lot of systems would be anyway. Mia's led most of our everythings. Meetings, conversations. It might be a good idea to draw up a contract. That's something that we did quite early on, after it was a few months into our system reveal that we found out about DID. We assumed we were all inner children until a friend told us that this is DID, not inner children. And then we investigated DID and found, oh right, yeah, this explains our experience. A few months after that, Amber had a big wobble. Another alter had come out. Amber decided she was too convenient. She was called Willow. She's never been back. I don't know what happened to her. And decided that she must be making it all up. So spent a whole day saying, I'm making it up, they're not real. Mia tried to get out, was blocked. Isabel tried to get out, was blocked. That night, Amber picked up a pen and paper and started to write, and Mia escaped and just cried and cried, rang grandma, made Amber promise never to say that she's making us up again, and wrote a contract. Some rules might be helpful. Collectively, of course, everyone needs to agree on everything. If that's possible, with time and healing, well, we're pretty much all on the same page about most things. We do have some disagreements, but not too bad. Mapping the system. Different ways that we've done it include a mind map. We've used a spreadsheet before. We've used one of our system maps. We did the Venn diagram, which is like the circles. So we ended up having like Pen, Amber, they're our co-hosts, and then we found that when we started to elaborate on this, we'd know in the head space. I don't know whether it's related to where we are in the head. We do feel like we're in different places, which when you think about the whole MRI thing showing, who knows, we feel like we're in different places in the head. And the way that we did this, I can't do this now. We really need to map our system again, but it's all effort, isn't it? Working it out is effort. That's Mia. And I only knew that was Mia talking because of the change, because I heard her voice. We've no idea what's going on most of the time. So yeah, mapping the system really good. Journaling. Honestly, write things down, because chances are you're not going to remember. You might remember. You don't know what you're going to forget and what you're going to remember. We would have forgotten probably 90% of what has happened to us. And the only reason we have something to show for what we've been through, which has been a huge amount, as per every other person on the planet with DID, which is why it's important we talk about this. We educate people and we show people what it's really like. I don't know who is talking through me, but they're getting excited, and that is not me. The joys. So this is Mia's amazing book, The Revelation, and this was put together in about a month. Mia and Jessica, who's her alter, our writer, we think they spend a lot of time together, which is how Mia just does everything. They went through all of the writing we had, hundreds of status updates. Mia had written several hundred poems. They went through blog posts that Amber wrote years ago, because when she had a massage practice, she started having a little blog on her website, wrote a few blogs, one of them about massage and her mental health. So that was really interesting, unpicking that. Jessica found clues about our DID that had been written about 5 years ago, years before the reveal even started. So yeah, all sorts has gone in here. It's it's all over the place, but it's also amazing that it shows the chaos. Police complaint. We got arrested. Oh, Amber was missing for most of the summer 2021. She was inside waking, healing and fusing dormant fragments. It couldn't have made it up. So, right, please, because you'll forget. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to make sense. When we are writing, especially with the poetry, Mia's going to talk about poetry, the important thing is feeling it. And other ways, there can be other creative ways for getting it out. Art, we've done a lot of art. Play, exercise, creative anything. Something that we did last week, we went to a charity shop. So our latest wave of littles, we call them waves, it feels like that, really into Barbies. So they'd already got a couple, and which is, I like that one there. So last week we went to a charity shop where years ago, sometime in the last 2 years, Mia had been, and she had seen there was a box of Barbies. So latest wave of the littles are into their Barbies, and they remembered about this box of Barbies. So we went, they picked these two girls out, £1 each, brought them home, gave them a bath, gave them a wash, and they've got some clothes, a job lot off eBay, so we had spare clothes around. Got them dressed. They're in their winter clothes at the moment because it's snowing outside, and they went for a photo shoot yesterday. They're normally in dresses and looking a lot prettier than this. But yeah, hugely healing. Charity shops. Amber, this was one of the first things that happened for us, and I'm going to go and get my doll. So this is Bumblebee. She was the product of, I think, our first charity shop hunt. She happened when there was just me, Berlou, trauma holder, Mia, extrovert, and Kai, he was a little persecutor. Amber had said to us that we could go shopping, so we went to a charity shop and we were allowed £5 each. And Kai wanted a dino or a car. Mia wanted the biggest, best dollhouse that you ever saw, which she did actually get. And I wanted a dolly like a baby. And in the second charity shop that we walked into, we immediately saw this girl, and she was £15. And so I said, well, she's too expensive. And Kai said he didn't care, I could have his £5. And Mia said straight away, have her £5. So I got my doll. I was about 4 at the time, and it was huge. It was massive. It was so emotional, so healing. To have this girl who was mine. So, yeah, having things that are our personal own. We've done so many charity shops. Oh, didn't bring them down. There's been a lot of soft toys acquired. There's been Sylvanian families. There's been all sorts. But having something that is our own is really healing and validating, I think, because that makes us real, doesn't it? If we own things that are, when we're so convinced so much of the time that we're not real, and we have society telling us that we're not real, which is lovely, and a lot of other people. But this girl, she let your littles heal. Let them, if you can, safely. Obviously, that it's dependent on being co-conscious. Right, so Mia's going to talk a bit about her poetry now. Mia? Oh, yeah, so I first started writing poetry because I wrote a little poem. I've been sharing an awful lot, as everyone said about my incessant oversharing on Facebook. And I wrote a little poem, shared it on Facebook. Someone said it was good, so I went and made another Instagram, called it Did We Write? And my first poem that I posted on Did We Write was, this is called Can I Write by Mia. Me. How do you know if you're good enough to write poetry? It no matter. You write for you, taking the words out of the brain. The feelings, they change as the words leave. As the light hits the words, they shine, they resonate. The brain can see the words, it makes more sense. So I write for me. I make the words, I feel them, go from thought to finger, tap tap, letter, feeling, transformed. So I started my Did We Write Instagram, started sharing some poems that I'd written, and quickly found that there was a really nice Instagram poetry community. And they share, there's prompts on there like every day, loads of different prompt pages, and I found that that was a really, really helpful way for me to be able to write poetry. There were a few different ways that I do. So I wrote hundreds, and then we did start sorting some of them out. This is our first collection of poetry. This is Are My Thoughts My Own, which is all the stuff that we found that was related to understanding and embracing our DID. This is actually free to read now online on our website, on our didwewrite.co.uk, and then our books, and you can read this for free and download it for free. So that was the first one. We got some really nice reviews from it. Everyone said that, someone even said that it was just nice to read concepts and ideas and feelings that they just didn't think that they'd ever be able to articulate. So it was nice to be able to see it in words. So that was nice. Woe is Mia. This is all the depression and suicidal thoughts. There was a lot. So it's divided into a few sections. There's perpetual woe, which is just all the depression, and it just shows how deep, how wide, how complex depression is, especially when, well, for us, dealing with all of us. There's wishing for the worst woe, which is a lot of, I wish I was dead. We spent an awful lot of time not wanting to be alive, especially when we were healing our first trauma. Mia, went to the police about it because we just didn't know what to do with it. We knew who did it, we knew when, and while we were waiting for that police investigation to happen, it was very, very hard. We didn't want to be alive a lot of the time. Berlou was in a lot of pain all the time. We couldn't process her pain until we got through that, and we did. And then after we finished the first draft of this book, we ended up suicidal again, and then that ended up being a fourth section of it. So it is a heavy read. It is a lot of woe, hence woe is me. I was going to call it woe is me at first, and then someone said, well, it's all your woe, you might as well call it woe is me. Parts and farts. Berlou put this together. Few sections, farting and nonsense. Berlou writes fart poems, they're hilarious. Creating our life together is all the stuff that's all our self-love, self-love, all our hoping for the future. Traumatic nonsense. Some of it's a bit rough. She put trigger warnings on the ones that were a bit hard. And nature and dog love, because we wrote a lot of that too. And then Berlou and Lolly, who are obviously our very professional presenters today, they created this, which was their own edit of the draft of Parts and Farts that we had at the time. That one got published after this one, and this is the poems that they found in there, just made pretty. It's nonsense. It's very pretty. They even did a search inside. We're thinking about giving this away for free as a PDF, because it's quite expensive to buy. We don't get a lot of money for it, barely get anything, because of the way Amazon is. But it's nice. It's nice, hopefully, for little parts and farts. Poetry by littles for littles. So, anyway, how I write poetry. Sometimes just write. It helps to get thoughts out the head. And when you're writing poetry, you don't need to worry about it making sense. You're not writing a story. It can be as abstract, as metaphorical as you like. You just finding words for feelings that don't make sense. And when we're healing trauma that is this old, and is from infancy, it doesn't make sense. And there's no logic, there's no language, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. So when we're working with words to heal, we find, I don't know, I start writing. I'll write a few lines. One that came out the other day that was reusing lines I'd already used before, but feeling my feelings, but I'd rather not. My feelings say help me, they think I forgot. And then so when I'm writing poetry, I might start by writing a few lines. I might just write and write and write. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be polished if you're just writing it for you. Or alternatively, you could be sharing on an anonymous social media. You could be just writing on your phone, you could have a journal, you could we recommend sharing if you can safely. That for us, that being seen, that validation is really, really important, which is why we're so loud. One of the reasons why we're so loud. We're loud for a few reasons. One, because it helps us. Two, because we hope it can help others. And three, because we need more people to be aware of DID. You know, it's just that we can live the rest of our life happily. We don't want to be a recluse forever. We don't want to be sat here in the house only going to yoga and a shop. Whereas, and that cannot happen if no one understands our experience, because I can't mask. All us littles can't mask. Like the grown-ups can mask and pretend to be Amber, and that annoys Amber because they're not Amber. And then she's like, well, yeah. So that's why we're loud. But anyway, back to poetry. So when I'm writing, one good way is I will write a few lines about how I'm feeling. I've got nothing coming to me at the moment. It's very annoying. I might try and get Boo and Lolly to write something because the brain's set up. We can all write. But one way is to go to a website, rhyming website. If you type in any word and rhyme, that it'll bring you to this really good rhyming website. There's also Word Hippo that's good. And what I'll do is I'll pick out the last words of my few lines, and then go and look at rhyming words, and then see what resonates. See if there's anything that that works with wherever I'm going. I might even end up going in a completely different direction to where I thought I was going. And it's quite good because I like it. It's creative. It's all a process, and a process that is really helpful for me, which I've done a lot of, is going to Instagram, finding a prompt, writing a poem, perfecting that poem. Usually with the Instagram prompts, there will be a word limit, so it might be 30 words. So then I've got to tinker with the poem and make it within the word limit. Then I'll go to Unsplash, an app, maybe a website, whatever. They have images, photography you can use for free. And I'll find a picture that I feel goes with my poem. Then I'll put it together, just create it on Instagram in the stories creator. I'll make it and get the picture in, put the words on, screenshot it, and there's my post. Or I might make a reel. May did do a bit of reading our poetry, but she's not been around a lot. It's hard. We seem to work in pretty cyclical. People will take it in turns to being out more. Like, we've not seen Lolly for God knows, well over 6 months, and now she's here, just happy, doing things, which is lovely. We've missed her. Doesn't need to make sense. It can be weird and wonderful, like that's funny. Demented by Mia. A demented paradise where life is both so much better yet so much worse. I sometimes wish I hadn't met her. I mean it, I really do. My face doesn't change, but we all share it. Consciousness changes, but the face stays the same. My faces change every day. You don't see the difference, but underneath my changing faces float back and forth, bringing sadness and warmth. My faces change, undetected, reflected back at me. Moods float past as faces switch, helping. See, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but oh, welcome. Read welcome. Right. This is Welcome by Caris, Mia and Jessica. Let your alters do what they want. You never know, one might be a savant. Their needs will vary, they'll be contrary, but work with them and listen, you don't know who'll glisten. There will be dark, hiding within, it's made its mark, caused by sin. The sin of others, but it's you that suffers, and with the feeling comes the healing. Have open arms and an open heart. With an open mind, they can have a fresh start. They might be scary, they're probably just weary. With love and understanding, you'll feel you expanding. Opening doors, welcoming hearts, those who swear and shout, who always act out. Find them a channel and give them some flannel. Keep sending them love, they'll meet you above. When their rage is diminished, you'll find they were unfinished. They can see clearly and they'll love you sincerely. Wait, so it's Berlou and Lolly back. We just wanted to talk a little bit about other things that help us. There are a few things that we are pretty sure we would not have survived this without. Love, patience. Those, both from inside ourselves and from the people who love us and who are supporting us outside. We've been so fortunate to have a husband who is financially supporting us, and we know how lucky we are. We know how lucky we are, which is, I think this is one of the reasons why Amber lets us, encourages us to share, to be ourselves, and to try and to help others. And we're helping ourselves as well by helping others. We know that. Berlou, she says that she the only way she can reconcile like the pain she's experienced this lifetime, she cried for 36 years. It's taken a lot of work to heal her, but you saw her, she's amazing. She's happy. She recently hosted for 2 weeks and we're just so proud. She literally kept sending Amber away, exiled her. So we've been really lucky. The things that have helped, yoga, we talked about it. We know we store it all in the body. We've had to find ways to get it out, and the only way that for us, we've got to move. We shake, we recognise when we're trauma processing, and we know how physical it is, and that applies to fusions as well. When fusions are happening, it is intense, it is physical. Sometimes we know there's nothing we can do and we just have to wait for it to pass. Just have to feel the feelings, but unless you're feeling them, they aren't going to get processed. You can ignore it and push it away, but for us, we find pain and we walk straight into it, which is so hard to do, because when there's pain, and like Amber, one of the big things for us healing was anxiety. Maya held a lot of anxiety, which is all related to abandonment from our father. Absolutely useless he is. And healing that, oh God, the anxiety. So physical, just so physical. And Amber recognised it was a pain that she was usually aware of, but it was peripheral. It wasn't, she didn't engage with it. And in order to heal it, in order to heal Maya, they were fused for about 5 days, and it was awful. But we got through it, and that is healed. And to the dad, the biological father in a way. Walking. We walk everywhere every day with our dog. We find it really helpful. Listening to music, playing music. So one thing that happened when we were waiting for the police investigation to all happen, Mia, we ended up suicidal. Amber called the doctors, said we need help. I think Mia was going to make an attempt on her life, and we went. Amber called the doctors. They said someone will call you back. A paramedic called back 2 hours later, told us we had to go to A&E. Amber got us there. Mia sent Ben, the husband, home. Mia walked into A&E, walked straight back out and tried to jump in front of a bus, and really tried. She really tried. It was horrible. We were all so ready to die though. We were ready. We were so exhausted, and it's just so hard. And like at one point, Isabel came out and she's just like, you know what, if you can do it, do it. That's where we were. So she rang our mum, who told the husband what we were trailing around Sheffield trying to get run over. He came and found us because we've got location sharing on the phone because of Amber's work. And the next day, Mia decided, well, if she can't kill herself, she might as well learn to play guitar. So we'd got this from a couple of years ago. It's our brother's, and we borrowed it. It was before COVID happened. We were doing quite well, learning a bit of guitar, and then COVID happened and we just started playing Animal Crossing. So Mia decided she's going to learn to play guitar. She nagged the husband. Oh, she decided she needed a pink guitar, and then found this guy locally secondhand and was like, I need it. So we're not going to play guitar. We're not going to play guitar. Oh wait, yeah, we're going to play guitar. But Mia learned enough. She learned a few chords and learnt enough that Berlou was able to use it to process, and Berlou used it a lot. Like it didn't Berlou, play your song. Really? Now for this? Yeah, just why not? Someone might like it. I can't even remember how. Oh, I'm going to use a pick though. I can't believe they're making me do this. I can't remember my song. I've barely played for months. Probably from that, we didn't use a lot of chords. It didn't take long to learn enough to be able to it got our heart rate going. We felt it. It's a really good way for us to process. Like Mia wants to be a rock star some of the time, but so music, listening to songs, playing songs, whatever. Find music is helpful. The other things that have helped, so I think that's kind of all we've got to say. I mean, there's probably an awful lot more. We could talk all day about DID and ourselves quite easily. You got to feel it to heal it. You've got to. It's the only way. I know we shouldn't say the only way, but I think it is. If you got DID, you're storing it somewhere, and it's love, patience, acceptance, and just keep swimming. Right. Oh, so we are on Instagram, Did We Write? Twitter, Did We Write? Facebook, Did We Write? Our YouTube channel is Amber Salters. I think we're going to try and make it so that you can actually find it through Did We Write? I don't know. And we've got the website, didwewrite.co.uk. Thanks for watching. Bye.